Welcome back. In the previous lessons, we explored the five aggregates one by one: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. We discovered that each of these is constantly changing, arising because of causes and conditions, and passing away when those conditions change. Now we come to an important question. If none of these aggregates is permanent, then who are we? What is this self that we spend so much of our lives protecting, praising, and worrying about? This question lies at the heart of the Buddha's teaching. It is not meant to confuse us or deny our everyday experience. Instead, it gently invites us to look more closely. As we investigate with patience and honesty, we begin to see that what we call I or me is not a fixed, independent entity. Rather, it is a convenient name we give to a collection of changing processes. Imagine a river flowing through a valley. We may call it by a single name, but the water flowing through it today is not the same water that flowed yesterday. Every moment, fresh water enters, while old water continues downstream. Although we give the river one name, it is always changing. In much the same way, we give ourselves a name and think of ourselves as one permanent person, yet our body, feelings, thoughts, memories, and experiences are constantly changing from moment to moment. The Buddha explained that our experience is made up of the five aggregates. Form is the physical body. Feeling is every pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral experience. Perception recognizes and labels what we encounter. Mental formations include our thoughts, intentions, habits, emotions, and reactions. Consciousness is the awareness that arises whenever one of the senses comes into contact with an object. Together, these five aggregates create our moment-to-moment experience of life. Because these aggregates work together so seamlessly, the mind naturally assumes that there must be someone inside them controlling everything. It feels as though there is a permanent owner saying, "This is my body, these are my thoughts, or these are my emotions." Yet when we carefully examine each aggregate, we cannot find such an owner. Think of a house. From a distance, it appears to be a single object. But when we look more carefully, we find walls, doors, windows, a roof, bricks, wood, pipes, and electrical wiring. None of these parts alone is the house. Even when all the parts are assembled, house is simply the name we give to the whole arrangement. In the same way, self is the name we give to the ever-changing combination of the five aggregates. It is useful in everyday conversation, but it does not point to an independent, permanent essence. Another helpful example is a melody played on a piano. We recognize the melody and may even become deeply moved by it. Yet if we try to find the melody itself, we cannot point to any single note and say, "This alone is the melody." The melody exists only because many notes arise in a particular order and relationship. Likewise, what we call a person exists because countless physical and mental processes arise together. Remove the conditions, and the experience changes. This does not mean that we do not exist. Buddhism does not teach that people are imaginary or meaningless. We clearly experience joy, sadness, love, pain, and responsibility. The Buddha simply invites us to see that our existence is dynamic rather than fixed. We are living processes, not unchanging objects. Just as a flame continues to burn while constantly consuming new fuel, our lives continue through an ongoing flow of causes and conditions. One of the most famous Buddhist illustrations is the chariot analogy. A king once asked the monk Nagasena whether there was truly a permanent self. Nagasena replied by asking the king about his chariot. Was the chariot the wheels? No. Was it the axle? No. Was it the seat, the frame, or the reins? Again, no. Yet when all these parts were assembled in a certain way, people called it a chariot. The name described a collection of parts working together, not an independent thing existing by itself. In the same way, person, or self, is the conventional name we use for the five aggregates functioning together. This understanding may seem unsettling at first because we are deeply accustomed to thinking of ourselves as permanent individuals. From childhood, we hear phrases such as, "This is who you are," or "Never change who you are." These ideas can make us believe that there is an unchanging identity hidden somewhere within us. But our own experience tells a different story. Our bodies grow older, our opinions evolve, our friendships change, skills are learned and forgotten. Even our personalities shift through the experiences of life. Everything is in motion. Seeing this clearly can bring great freedom. If we believe our anger is permanently my anger, it can feel impossible to let go. If we believe fear defines who we are, we may carry it throughout our lives. But when we understand that anger, fear, and even our habits are conditioned processes rather than fixed identities, we discover that change is always possible. We are no longer trapped by the labels we have given ourselves. This insight also transforms the way we relate to others. Instead of seeing people as permanently kind, selfish, successful, or difficult, we begin to recognize that everyone is shaped by countless conditions. Just as we are constantly changing, so are they. This understanding naturally gives rise to patience, forgiveness, and compassion. Rather than judging others by a single moment, we appreciate that every person is a living process capable of growth and transformation. The Heart Sutra builds upon this teaching by pointing us even deeper. It does not simply say that the five aggregates change, it declares that the five aggregates are empty. This means they have no permanent, independent essence. They arise through causes and conditions and exist only in relationship with everything else. Understanding this truth loosens our attachment to the idea of a fixed self and opens the door to profound wisdom. You do not need to accept this teaching simply because the Buddha said it. Instead, observe your own experience. Watch your thoughts arise and disappear. Notice how emotions come and go. Feel how the body changes from childhood to adulthood and continues changing every day. Ask yourself gently, where is the permanent self? Rather than searching for an answer through reasoning alone, allow the question to deepen your awareness. As your understanding grows, you may discover that letting go of a rigid idea of yourself is not a loss, but a liberation. When there is less clinging to I, me, and mine, there is more room for kindness, flexibility, wisdom, and peace. This is not about becoming someone else. It is about seeing clearly what has always been true. In our next lesson, we will take the next step into one of the most profound teachings in all of Buddhism, the meaning of emptiness. We will explore what emptiness truly is, why it does not mean nothingness, and how understanding it can free the mind from fear and suffering. As you continue your practice, simply observe the changing flow of your own experience with curiosity and compassion. In that quiet observation, wisdom begins to unfold.